And so here we are, jumping from one sequel to another, and this time it actually is a sequel to Rudolph. One that's not focusing on Christmas per se, but instead shifting its focus to a little bit later in the year, talking about New Year's. It's sometimes easy to forget that there are a lot of specials that do focus on more than just Christmas out there. And New Year's is one of those holidays that I don't really think gets a whole lot of attention. You know, unless you count the weird ritual of a crowd of drunk and horny weirdos standing outside in near or below freezing weather for hours on end, waiting to watch a giant ball drop like it's signifying the world going through puberty every single year. Seriously, is that still a thing? They used to televise that, and I always thought it was the weirdest thing. Anyway, on with the special. When I say this one is a sequel, I mean it. It's a rather immediate sequel, starting off on the very same Christmas night that saw Rudolph assisting Santa in seeing through the massive snowstorm. When they return, Santa receives a letter from his good friend Father Time, who informs him that Happy, the baby New Year, is missing. Which is a pretty big deal, as without a baby New Year, there won't be a New Year, and every day will just be December 31st all over again. Since the storm is still raging, Santa sends Rudolph out to meet with Father Time and see about helping him, as they only have a week before New Year's. Rudolph is met by General Ticker and the Great Quarter Past Five, who help him avoid Eon, a giant vulture who is also looking for Happy, since Eon only lives for an eon, and this is his last year, so if he can find Happy and prevent the New Year from happening, well, he lives forever. Rudolph meets with Father Time, who also doubles as our narrator, played by comedian Red Skelton, who tells him that the reason Happy ran off is because he was born with massive ears, and ended up getting taunted for it all the time. Something that only strengthens Rudolph's wish to find him, since he knows what it's like to be mocked for a physical difference. And Father Time sends Rudolph to the archipelago of last years, where all previous Father Times retire to when their stint is done, thinking that might be where Happy went to. From there, it's basically an island-hopping adventure, as Rudolph goes to several different islands, interacting with their Father Times, and the local denizens, all the while being pursued by Eon, determined to make sure that the New Year never comes. I really like this plot. In fact, I really like this special a lot. There is an immeasurable amount of charm here, and it's chock full of interesting and fun characters that, despite most of them not having a huge amount of the 60-minute screen time of the special, still make a great impression. It's the first time in a while watching these specials that there weren't a huge number of things that just sort of took me out of the experience or made me question the world it was presenting, because the stuff that it presents is actually really interesting. It's basically presenting a mythology for New Year's as a holiday. The idea of a singular being that helps to keep time in order for an entire year, and then passes on his duties to a newborn before retiring to an island that is stuck in a single year that he was born in, is actually a really clever idea, and it leads to a lot of really nice variety in the settings and character design. That's something that you notice when you watch a lot of these specials back to back. The winter and Christmas aesthetic can get a little bit tiring when you see it so much. We have had exceptions, yes, but even then, they largely stuck to a single area of design, like the desert in The Little Drummer Boy. But here, we get the North Pole, we get the Sands of Time Desert, and Father Time's Tower, the prehistoric jungles of 1 million BC, and the fairy tale land of 1023. It's really well done. Though that early American island, given the current climate, was a bit uncomfortable to watch, not gonna lie. Sorry, but my tolerance for celebration of nationalism is pretty low these days, but at least it's a single area in a pretty beefy special. While we don't get anyone as outright goofy as we did in the original Rudolph special, most of the characters here are still pretty entertaining, even if some of them definitely sound like they're still played by the same voice actor. Rudolph himself is still a little bit boring, but he actually shows something more resembling a personality this time around, and has a wider range of emotion to be sure. He even gets his own song in this special. He's not a particularly good singer, but it's cute. The music is fairly good this time around. I don't think it's anything particularly memorable, but all of the songs are decent at worst. But they're all really short, much like the original special. The special also does something similar to Frosty's Winter Wonderland, where it takes the Rudolph song and adds a few new verses so that it's more relevant to the story being told, which I like. It might also have something to do with Red Skelton's singing style, as he sings a majority of the songs, especially during the first half, and while he's not terrible, he's pretty soft-spoken, like he has issues projecting, and it robs the songs of a lot of their impact, which makes them feel more like background dressing rather than proper musical numbers. And once again, I have to compliment the animation and the model quality. While it's pretty on par with some of the more recent stop-motion specials that we've seen, it is leaps and bounds better when you compare it to the original. Just look at Rudolph in the original compared to the sequel, and it's pretty staggering the difference in quality. I mean, you'd expect it, these specials were 12 years apart, but still. So yeah, this one gets a thumbs up. I really enjoyed watching this one, and it put a smile on my face. Weird to think that it's not really a Christmas special so much as a New Year's one, but I still think it's appropriate to watch around Christmas time. If the original didn't do much for you, like how I felt rewatching it, I can wholeheartedly recommend its sequel as a good alternative.